Here's a game I spent way too many hours playing when I was in college that happens to have one of the most incredible soundtracks, I think, in video games. Yes! What we're hearing here is essentially this combination of like action but mixed with spy thriller type sound. I mean, there's so many similarities between like Mission Impossible and James Bond. We're basing all this around E minor, right? And we can hear there's kind of like a bass line going on that seems to be fairly consistent. We have this E minor bass line going on in the guitar. So harmonically speaking, we don't necessarily go anywhere from E minor. We're just kind of playing around in this space mostly using actually the blues scale. We turn this into like a modal blowout. That'd be fun. So we're not really going anywhere from this E minor. We're kind of just sitting in it, right? And we have just these melody notes that create dissonance. And that is oftentimes what we hear in things like Mission Impossible and the James Bond music, right? It creates this dissonance. It uses a lot of minor, but with sometimes some interesting upper extensions. Now in this case, we get the first one right off the bat. It's not an upper extension, but it is an adjustment from our minor chord. We're now bringing in this minor major 7. And we call it that because we have a minor chord. And simply put, we are changing the 7th from what it would normally be if we were to take the naturally occurring minor scale in E minor, which would be this. That is E natural minor. And instead of using D as our 7th, we're actually using D sharp. Now, this is a different type of minor scale that you could say we're using now. You could call it melodic minor. You could probably also make it harmonic minor, because that has the major 7th as well. And the question you would simply have to ask is, does it sound more like what we're hearing to have, or, right? Or would it? Works either way, but we have to listen to the actual recording to tell us that context of what's more likely to be the scale that we're actually using here. But that's the first bit of dissonance that we introduce. We have this minor chord, and our melody simply goes 1, 1, 1, major 7. And then I think it goes back 1, 1, and now it does something really cool. Listen to this. Ooh, it's happening. Interesting. Okay, I didn't notice this the first time around, but actually what's happening in the melody there is there's 2 parts to it. And when we do this major 7, when we play this major 7th in the melody, we're also getting the next thing that I was going to describe, which is that tritone. Okay, so the second part of the melody goes, and that we can clearly recognize as a tritone. Tritone meaning 3 whole steps. 1 whole step, 2 whole steps, 3 whole steps. That's our tritone, okay? So we have our first bit of our melody, which goes major 7, minor major 7, right? And then we go back to the 1, and then we get this tritone, right, on that B flat. But something interesting is happening. The first time when we play the major 7th on that minor chord, we actually hear a harmony in there, and it is the tritone. Listen again. Listen. So that is it's there. That trumpet way up high. Our main focus of the melody is certainly the major 7th, but we're also hearing that tritone in there as well. First time, we focus on the major 7th, but our tritone's in there also. The second time, we go right to that tritone. Yeah. Now we're gonna hang on to that. Even as all the other stuff's going on. Woo! Very, very simple. That's it, right down the blues scale. The blues scale, for those of you who don't know, 1, minor 3, 4, and we add the sharp 4, the flat 5 in there before we hit that 5. Minor 7th, back to our 1. That's oftentimes when we're learning to improvise, that's like the first scale that we learn, and so we always wind up playing. Yeah. That's what 13-year-old me sounded like. Also, talking about the blues scale, if you want a completely free downloadable chart that shows every single blues scale in every key with some details on what makes it cool and some cool ways you can use it, we've put together that resource. It's completely for free. All you gotta do is click the link in the description and we will send it straight to your inbox. Oh, here we go. 4 chord. Back to the 1. The lead trumpets, oh my God, absolutely fantastic. Okay, that's interesting. This is actually a 12-bar blues. Do we call it a blues? It's sort of formatted like a blues, but it's a little bit different. We have this minor chord, however the melody goes, and then we do go to our 4, but we don't go to the 4 at the place that we would normally expect a blues to go to the 4. If we were gonna play a minor blues in E minor, we might expect the first bar to be E minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, second bar, A minor, and then back to E minor for 2 bars, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4. Then some type of turnaround on the 5 for 2 bars, and then either lay back on the 1 on the E minor for the remaining 2 bars, or we do some type of turnaround to go back to the 1. In this case, it's actually totally different. It still fits within that 12 bars, but we're not utilizing what we typically expect to hear in the 12-bar blues. Let's take a peek. 4, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4 bars. Okay, so 4 bars on the 1 chord, and then we go to the 4 chord on the 5th bar. But we stay there. And then we go back to the 1. Then I'm looking at the final 2 bars as sitting on the 5. So call it a variation on the blues, I suppose. It still fits within 12 bars, but it's a little bit different. And regardless of what it is, it sounds fantastic. Nice sounding solo, pretty simple, just staying in that bluesy, minor blues kind of area. Fun fact, if you didn't know this, the growling sound you get out of a saxophone, you do that by humming as you're playing. That's what creates that kind of conflict between what you're playing and the vocalizations coming from your throat, and it winds up sounding like it's growling, and that's how you do that. Yeah. Woo. So we're kind of almost using the exact same bass line as we were in the main theme. Something like that. Shares it here, which again, we've talked about this in video game music in the past, but that consistency amongst these themes really helps tie the whole game together and feel really, really coherent. Yes! Oh. such a fantastic theme. I love the character of the medic so much. He's just so out of his mind. You want to talk about amazing marketing for this game? I mean, when they made all of these animated shorts about the different characters, what a brilliant way to just make us feel who all these characters were, and the absolute hysterical, crazy, chaotic nature of so many of these characters. It just made it so much more fun to play. And the medic, oh, is one of my favorites. That is how you market a game.
Let's go practice medicine.
Here's the theme, here's the theme. Yes! Yes! Oh, it's so great. Medic! Yes! Ah, we switched to major. We switched to major. Absolutely incredible. I mean, you want to talk about like a whole movie score right there in this stupid short. Brilliantly made characters, an absolutely brilliant composition for this soundtrack. It is just so much fun. That's what, you know, and that's the best way to describe it. Like, it's a great way for the minor and the darker sounds to almost have this hilarious and fun vibe to them. Because we have this harmony that's suggesting something that's pretty dark, but when we pair it with the instrumentation and the chaos of the beat and all this stuff and this like just chaotic big band sound, it just winds up sounding fun. And that's the perfect addition to what these characters are. Yeah. Yeah. Now notice, we're still using that exact same bass line. Same exact one we hear so many times throughout the soundtrack that keeps it cohesive and it keeps it with just a consistent sound overall where we always can recognize it, but at the same time, it's putting it into all these different contexts. We talked about this time and time again on this channel, but great thematic writing will take the exact same theme and change it to apply to different contexts appropriately. So whether it changes the key or whether it changes the volume or the tempo, you can do all of this with the exact same melody. In this case, it's a bass line. However it goes, right? We can have it faster, and that would have a different feel. We can have it slower and softer, and that would be more mysterious. We hear this throughout movies, we hear this throughout video games. Team Fortress 2 is no exception. This music just brings back so many memories of spending way too many hours playing online. What an absolutely fantastic game and an unbelievable soundtrack. This was so much fun to play and listen to, and it just never got old because the music is just that good. So I want to thank you guys for your support, and thank you for watching this video. Let me know what were your favorite tracks from TF2 and how many hours you wasted away playing it at 4 in the morning when you should have been asleep. But that's gonna do it, so I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.